What's up, guys? Thanksgiving is now over and we are headed into Christmas, so I thought because December 1st is Monday, this would be a great time to get you guys prepared for the December price action. So this is actually my third December trading, which is crazy for me to hear. But yeah, so I thought today we'll go back, I'll give you guys some tips on how to approach December PA, and then we will trade my first ever December, which was 2023. So you will hear a lot of people talking about December price action, and they will say things like, oh, December is going to be really choppy, it's going to be trash. And here's the thing, I am definitely someone that thinks you should do your due diligence and use your own discretion to determine whether or not you're going to trade. Please, going into December, test your own strategy. Don't take too much influence from what other people say. It's important, if you have a direct mentor and you're going based on exactly how they trade, I understand that you want to follow what they do. That makes sense. But still, test your own strategy, backtest by yourself, and see if what they're saying actually works. Don't just take influence from so many outside sources. Like if you're on TikTok and some random person says don't trade December PA because they've traded it for 10 years and it sucks, they might not even trade the same way as you. They're probably not even telling 100% of the truth, right? So don't worry necessarily about what other people are saying. Test for yourself. So I thought this would be a good time today. We'll go through, we will test this out, and I'll show you guys how I would approach December PA. It might be a little bit choppy, especially as we get close to Christmas. I'm going to be honest, I just took off this last week for Thanksgiving. I probably will take off the week of Christmas and even maybe like 2 weeks before because, like closing up Q4, it is probably going to slow down. But in the beginning of December, mostly like these first 2 weeks, we're going to look for a handful of good trades at least. So we will see how this goes, but we're just going to get started. If you haven't seen my videos before, I trade continuation. You probably know if you clicked on the video. So all that means is we're looking for higher time frame draws for price and looking for reasonable entries toward those draws. That's pretty much all there is to that. If I don't end up taking that many trades, I'll put timestamps in the description of the video so you can skip ahead to the days where I actually trade. But just for the sake of this video, I might be a little aggressive and try and take extra trades to show you that you can take wins during December, even when everyone says it's going to be bad or whatever they say. So at this point, I'm going to try to make no more cuts in the video. This probably won't be a super long video. I'll give you guys some good analysis, but because we're not going to be going very far into the month, probably like 2 weeks max, just because, it is going to slow down, and in real life, I probably wouldn't even be trading it anyways, and I suggest to you guys that it would be a good time to take off as well. So we're not going to get through too much here, but I thought, again, this would be a good time for me to give you some tips and show you how I'd approach it. So no more cuts at this point. We just going to get started. First thing that I'm seeing here, right, is overall this trend is obviously like more bearish, right? We're tapping into this 4-hour gap. I mean, I guess we could get a bullish reaction here, but like we're starting to come down out of that reaction, and this looks like a good draw. We definitely want to be careful. When I saw on the 4-hour is like, I don't know, sometimes you got to be careful targeting like all the way on the bottom of this wick. Like maybe we could target like, I don't know, we'll see what it looks like if we get a good setup like toward this, or maybe even like this, or something else. I just don't know how I feel about targeting all the way on the bottom. So for now, we'll mark out this wick because it's one that hasn't been swept yet, and also bottom of that 4-hour. Okay, so this is going to be the target for now. Let's just see what we get out of this though. We also have this hourly gap above, so ideally if we could come tap that gap and start heading downward, that would be what we want to see. So already starting to get a big move down. Honestly, like this displacement isn't even terrible for these lows. Obviously 2.8 now because I skipped past it, but this is a little aggressive anyways before the first news. So you'd be break even, yeah, at that point. Okay, so you would have got break even on that one if you took it. Let's wait though, because I want to see us take that hourly, ideally. Okay, nice. I was gonna say if we don't take it, that doesn't mean you can't trade this, but we did tap in the hourly gap, and we kind of edged this low, like not super close, but I'm still liking this lower draw. If we can get a nice reaction out of here, then we'll definitely look to short this. So see what happens here. A little bit choppy, but I'm telling you, bro, like good displacement, basically breaking like this range here to me really shows that we want to come lower. Like even though this lower time frame is not my favorite, like this is kind of what they talk about with the December PA, we could definitely catch a trade here. I just want to see this break lower. It's a pretty good move. Okay, nice. That is a great move. You off this previous one, maybe you could have entered, but like I said, I wanted to see this range kind of get broken here to show that we're actually like starting to make the move lower. So, I mean, you could target this bottom one, but it just seems kind of aggressive. Like maybe you could target that and trail, but I'm gonna be weak today. We're just going for the base hit, and this is a pretty good stop loss for like a 1-to-1. I like this trade here, so we'll just go for this. And then also we would be break even at this point. Maybe like you could maybe go break even like here, but it doesn't really matter at that point. Pretty much the trade's gonna hit or it's gonna stop loss. So let's see, not really gonna be break even potential. Okay, drawdown at first, but look at that flip, bro. Oh, that's like a textbook flip. This nice like V-shape recovery kind of shows we want to come lower. You could, if you didn't catch this entry, you could also enter off of, like you could take this even with your stop loss like here, targeting this low. But yeah, all right, let's see what happens here. All right. We did nice. We took that, so we're gonna go break even. I mean, I imagine it should take this. If not, we're gonna start trailing our stop pretty aggressive there. Okay, yeah, we will start trailing this a little bit. It should. I don't want to trail too tight, but it should take this pretty soon. Like I wouldn't want to be out of this with nothing though. Okay, nice. That one did hit, so we gonna move on to the next day. Let's see. All right, so overall, this is more bearish. I'm noticing we swept these lows. Let's look. Okay, we are also inside these like hourly gaps. So this is overall more bearish. It looks like lows are stacking up here. Okay, so because these lows are stacking up, these would be like the main targets, but it really depends. If we start to have a bullish reaction out of these gaps after sweeping these, like it's not unrealistic to target like something higher, but because this is more like bearish overall, I'm not really looking for like a crazy reversal. Like I don't want to catch this like this move. I'm not trying to like catch this at the bottom, you know. I'm just going to ride the move as a continuation trader, right? So we're going to see if there's like something lower that we can find here. Dude, this is this is already like a good retrace. Imagine like a candle like this to target these lows, bro. Like look at this move when a candle like this. Let's see. Damn. All right, well, yeah, that's pretty aggressive. I imagine we take the lows. You'd be break even at this point. So if you don't take the lows, then at least you get break even on this. So, okay. Does not take the lows there. Let's see. Nice retrace up. Maybe we find an entry. It'd be nice if we tapped this 5-minute, but again, like it's one of those things where it doesn't have to happen. Oh shit. Okay. Starts just totally flipping to the downside. Now we'll probably take the lows, but I'm not gonna like. This is kind of a FOMO entry, low key. Because after what happened the last time, I do not want to like force this for 9 points, and you don't have a good stop. Like you'd want to have a pretty protected stop above these highs, and we're not taking a 0.3R trade, but yeah, would have won, but just not worth it, honestly, not worth the risk on that one. Let's see if we can continue to these next lows. On the hourly, this did become an unfilled gap, so you could also look for this. I mean, obviously unfilled, but yeah. So let's see. Still kind of showing a lower sentiment. All right, not the greatest price action, but let's see if we can like break out of this. Like this is still showing a lower trend. Like if you look at this like whole trend, right, it's still just continuing downward. Let's see if we can get like a nice break out of like these lows would be the next thing we want to see. And we would look for like, I don't know. I don't really want to enter too high up, but maybe something like this. Like I don't know. We'll just see what we get here though. Okay, move up. We'll keep waiting for this idea though. Okay, this isn't terrible, but I don't want to force the entry all the way up here. The reason I want to see us like break this range is because we're technically like, since we're like sweeping out liquidity, in theory, like we could reject at any liquidity point. So because of that, I don't really like entering right at the sweep unless it's like a really clear draw. And I would consider this a good like short area, but we don't really have a great draw in my opinion yet. So, all right, that is kind of a low close. Maybe I would have entered this sooner live time, but let's see if we can get like a decent R for something like this. Based on this here, about 19.25 points. So this is what the 1-to-1 looks like. Like I said, ideally you would want to have entered like sooner if this was live, like off of this dump. Maybe once we broke this low here, you could have entered and had an entry like up here. But it's all right. We'll just enter this. Show you guys. You know, you can take some dubs in December, I swear. So let's see if we dump here. Nice. That's a good candle. That candle there shows that we want to come lower. I like this candle. We'll go break even for sure off this because, I mean, if this just flips higher, then we're probably not coming to take the lows. Nice. Okay. Nice little move there. All right, move to the next day. Okay, this day kind of looks similar to the first day, right? We tapped like this 4 hour, starting to move down. We have like a decent draw to the downside, so we'll mark out this draw for sure. But because this is kind of losing momentum, it really depends. If we start breaking above this like little range, I imagine we want to come higher, so we'll mark out like this and maybe like this. But it just kind of depends what movement we get. If we don't, like if we break this low, I'd imagine we want to come lower. So we're just kind of watching this. Let's see. Don't really love this range, so I want to see, like I said, break either this top side or the bottom side before we look for anything. Okay, so it does start breaking to the top. Shows that we definitely, I think we want to come higher here. Like I said, this is like a strong wick. We are inside this gap though, so we could definitely be rejecting here. Let me go back to the hourly. Once the 4 hours like inversing this gap too, oh, it looked good for longs, but see if we can even find an entry here. It might just take it, but this is quite an aggressive push up, so we might get a retrace. It's a small candle, okay. All right, this is getting that retrace, bro. This looks pretty textbook. Let me draw it out for you, bro. Whenever you see this, I'm not gonna say that it's perfect, but if you have a good high time frame narrative and you get this like type of look, bro, like if you just like, you can just see it. It's like so easy to read, like boom, boom, and then we get that like movement back to the upside to show that we want to continue higher, like off this retrace. Literally looks so good. All right, bro, if this next candle like closes like this, I'd basically like be forced to enter this. Let's check the other time frames though. Hold on. 5 minute wick is kind of rejecting, which isn't my favorite, but 15 minute hasn't even closed yet. Let's check the 4 hour now. Kind of rejecting that, but let's just see if we get a nice move up. All right. That is pretty nice. We're not, I wish we would have like entered maybe slightly sooner, because 19 points off, I guess it's not too bad. At least a couple of years ago, that's still a decent amount. So, I mean, we basically have to enter this, I feel like, right? Like I drew out for you guys, nice move up, retrace, and then movement back to the upside to show that it is just a retrace and it's not a flip. Like, oh, okay. Let's just enter this here. Break even for sure at this high right there. All right, let's go. Nice, that's the break even. So no risk here and just play, bro. All right, cool. Dang, 3-0, bro. It's going well to start off. Showing you guys, bro, I'm telling you, December isn't necessarily terrible. Like, obviously, it's going to be a little worse, especially closer to Christmas. But, bro, if you guys see good trades, you know, take them, bro. Okay. First thing that I'm seeing is we are more bullish overall. Again, we kind of have like these weird highs stacking up, so we want to be careful like in this area how we target all the way at the top of this, because we might just like sweep like a little bit of this out and then start rejecting. And then another thing, bro, this is some sauce, I got you, is when we have this type of candle, right, you definitely want to pay attention to, on the higher time frame, how we always create a top and bottom wick. And I say always, obviously not like every single time, but like 99% of the time we create a top and a bottom wick on a higher time frame candle, especially like when we're looking at hourly, 4 hour. If you just look through this chart, like you probably won't be able to find a handful of candles. If I zoom out like this, you wouldn't even be able to find more than like 3 candles that end up not creating a top or bottom wick. So in this case, I don't want this to totally deter you from a trade, but like when we create this candle, I want to see this make a bottom wick before it comes higher. Even if we're bullish, I want to see that bottom wick get put in before we come higher. And then of course, if we put in the bottom wick and then just continue lower, we could look for a lower draw. But overall, I'm going to be more bullish. I'm going to wait and see what happens though. There's the candle. Okay, so we already put in that bottom wick. So at this point, we could look for longs. Obviously, we did sweep out some liquidity up here, like I talked about, so in this area. So if we just start to come down, that's fine too. Let's see. Okay, it's like dumping. Let me look for a lower draw too, just in case. Again, as a trend trader, like I'm trading along with the trend, even though I think we're more bullish overall, I'm going to follow the trend. If it wants to dump, I'm okay with that. So let's see. Coming down here. Yeah, I don't want to force this entry. I kind of want to see a retrace, but I mean, this entry isn't terrible to the lows, right? You could enter potentially something like this, but I kind of want to see, like, this is a pretty big dump, so we kind of want to see a bit more of a retrace. Let's see. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm going to get this off the screen. We're starting to get that retrace a little bit here. All right. This is a nice move. Again, this is like that nice V-shape recovery look. Let's see what the R looks like, though. I feel like we got to give this one a little bit more stop loss, though, because like I talked about just a minute ago, when we have this massive dump, it's kind of crazy to think like we're not going to retrace like to up to here, or even like 17 points before coming to these lows. Like I do think that these lows now are a good draw because like we clearly want to come lower, but to think that we're not going to come up at all, like the best two options here, I'd say like this is a good draw, but best two options here I'd say are like have a bit of a bigger stop loss, or you could wait for us to kind of like manipulate higher again, maybe do something like this, then retrace down, then you could enter. I mean, it really just depends, you know, for the sake of the video. We'll just enter off this leg. If it gets stopped out, we might be able to find a re-entry, but this isn't a bad entry by any means, I would say. We're going to go hard to break even at this low, though. Yeah, sounds good. All right. Okay, we edged the low there, starting to make a move up. Okay, almost stopped out. We're back in this, though. Let's see if it wants to come higher. I mean, if it comes down, starts chopping, and then turns around, then obviously we're just wrong about our bias, so it's not a big deal. Nice. Okay, so we got that to secure the break even. So we're at least going to be break even here. Dang, like I said, it does just kind of manipulate higher. I'm surprised it didn't tap this 5-minute gap. I would think maybe it wants to come up for the gap first, but yeah, maybe you could have entered off of this flip after more retrace, but see if this just plays out now. Nice, bro. Pretty solid there. Lots of one-to-ones today, but yeah. Okay, what are we, like a week in? Like I said, I don't want to go too far into this because I'm gonna be honest, I won't even be trading too far into Christmas anyways, so or into December. But yeah, all right, overall, again, we want to be careful targeting all the way up here because, like, look at this wick. This is quite the wick, so maybe we'll target, like, a little bit lower. But this is kind of the idea, is we want to see this higher price unless we just start moving down. I'm going to go to the 5-minute, though, because we're pretty far from here. Just look at the time frames. Yeah, all right, let's go to the 5-minute and try and get some moves here. Oof, this is a good candle. Okay, again, a little more sauce, bro. When you see a candle like this, where this is the first 5-minute candle, to me, there's a very high probability that on the day we're going to be more bullish. Like that opening candle is so important, especially on the 5-minute. When we get this like total rejection of this and just a really high close showing that we want to come higher, like to me, this is a great sign that we are going to be more bullish overall today. I'm not saying that you can't take a short, but I'm definitely not going to be looking shorts for a while after like this open, unless there's like 30 minutes goes by and then it clearly shows like 5-minute candles that are just dumping. So we'll see what happens here. Stay on the 5-minute for a second here to see. Okay, it's starting to get a move down, but like I'm going to need to see us like really get a lower close because that 5-minute candle was strong. 15 minutes. Maybe it's just going to tap this gap, or low-key, maybe we just sweep this low. Is this equal? Is equal lows here. Let's see if we sweep this low and then come up or not, though. Back to the 5-minute. Okay, we swept the low. So this is a moment like to see. We're either going to like tap this 5-minute gap and just start dumping, or we're going to like flip to the upside. And if we get a nice flip, then we'll start to look for something. Taps the gap there, but doesn't start dumping. Okay. That's a pretty nice flip back to the upside. Hold on. I mean, I could wait for a 1-minute retrace here, but honestly, look at this 5-minute, bro. Like, after we tap into all of this, showing that we want to come higher. Like I said, I could wait for a 1-minute retrace, but I feel like this really isn't too bad. We could target kind of far away, 77 points. This is a little bit choppy, but like if you look at the 5-minute, I don't think it's terrible. Like it shows displacement. You would definitely want to be like hard break even after this though, because once we take this, like I don't want to be too risky on this trade for sure. So we'll go hard break even at that high. Let's see. Didn't take it yet, so we're gonna hold off on the break even. That's a nice little V there. Maybe you could even enter off that candle, but like this could have been the 1-minute retrace you needed to enter. All right, this one takes the break even point, so we'll go break even here. And then because it's really far, I'm not gonna trail yet, but we might start trailing once this comes a little bit higher. So let's see if we get that. All right, we're starting to like chop. Hopefully this breaks the range. I think this would be a good moment to start trailing because, like I said, I mean, our regular TPs are going to be around like between 30 to like 50 points. So we would have already hit like our original TP. Obviously, you don't want to focus on the amount of money because I did risk, a lot more on this trade. Technically, it would have been 47 points. So I want to be careful here, but we're going to trail a little bit because after being up like almost 50 points, there's not really a reason. I don't know. Like, I don't want to see this totally flip and then I am break even on this. So, damn, that's not a good candle. But let's see if we can get some move up here. Continue to follow a little bit just because it's starting to play with us. When it starts playing with you like this, I recommend that you trail. You could even go, break even if you're not already. You could close your trade. We, as continuation traders, right, we're looking to follow along with the trend. When we are trading, right, you can either be bullish, bearish, but some people forget that you can also just go sideways. I think people are so wrapped up in either like the trade direction and like saying like, oh, we are either just bullish or we're bearish. Remember, we can go sideways too. Sideways like is not really a trend that you want to be a part of because there's just nothing going on. Like, we're literally just not moving. You want to be careful and you don't want to like get cooked by anything going sideways. So I'm not afraid to start kind of like trailing or jump out of a trade if we are just not getting any movement. So we're just going to move it to like the previous break even point for now and just wait and see what happens here. Hopefully we can get a move up. Would be nice. Really going nowhere. Looks like off that candle we'll probably get stopped. Okay, yeah, it took it there. All right, I'm gonna see. We'll see if this ended up moving at all, but this is just really not the best. Look at this 5 minute, bro. Like, not even an hour into market open and we're going nowhere. So, okay, damn, glad we at least got out when we did. Let's see. I'm gonna skip to like the 15 minute just to see if this would have played. Oh shit. Okay, so 15 minute looks decent there, right? Off this flip, maybe you could have found something in there. Did we end up like tapping anything significant? 15 minute like really respected this gap nicely and then had a nice like recovery there. So could have looked for something, but I mean, I was out of this. I'm not gonna force the second trade. So already looking good. Let's go to the next day here. Right. So first thing that I'm seeing is it looks like we didn't sweep this low. Yeah, so relative equal lows all the way down in this gap. Hold on. Okay, relative equal lows all the way down in this gap. I'm thinking that's probably a decent draw. We did tap this 4 hour though. So I still like the idea of coming lower here, but if we don't want to go lower, I'm going to also mark out a higher draw, which first thing would be this unfilled hourly gap, and then after that would be highs up here. So really just depends how we react out of this 4 hour. If we just start like, or I mean, we've already kind of started to get a reaction. If we just continue pushing higher, then I'm not opposed to longs. It also looks like we pretty much marked out the news highs and lows. Obviously not quite, but yeah, so we'll pay attention to those. Kind of like a little bit choppy here, so I really want to see some movement before we try to jump into anything. Okay, so took the news high. This is like looking more bullish, so we would really need quite the flip to target those lows, and we're about to have news in a second. Okay, damn, this next one also took out that high. Starting to get up into these highs here. I probably wouldn't trade toward this. Let me see, like, yeah, let's just we'll watch this for a second, see, but I don't know if we're going to get anything here. Damn. Maybe off of, you can make a case for this candle here, but it's like, I guess it's not terrible, honestly. Stop loss here for a 1-to-1. You can make a case for this, but not my favorite. So, okay. I don't want to force anything here. We'll mark out this next high, just see if we trend toward it. If we continue higher, I'm going to get rid of this. Hold on. All right, let's see if we get like a nice movement down before coming toward that high. I'm not going to take this. It's too close, but yeah. All right, damn. Okay, cool. Next day. I'm done with that one. It's moving too much. Looks like it didn't even surpass much past that high anyways yesterday, so cool. All right, we're going to try and look for one more good trade because we're starting to get into that 2-week mark where I said I would probably no longer be trading. So let's find something here. I'm not really liking this chop. I kind of want to just go to the 1 minute and see if we move anywhere before we, okay, we're starting to move to the upside. Let's mark out this high, honestly. Again, like always, we want to be careful like deep into the wicks, right? We might have something slightly lower to target. We're kind of far. Maybe let's go to 5 minutes, see if we get some movement here. Okay, that's a nice 5-minute candle. I'm not loving this chop, but tell me this V shape kind of is starting to form for something like this. Where's the stop loss though? Stop loss could be here. Off of this 5-minute, you could low-key enter this off the 5-minute. I'm gonna give this a shot, whatever. If this gets stopped, oh well. Okay, and then hold on, let me pause here. I'm really not liking this chop. See, as we're getting closer to Christmas, I'll be honest, the chop does come. Not really a great break-even point either here. Like, it's gonna have to be semi-arbitrary. Maybe just, I just want to see a little bit more like price develop though. Oh my gosh, I don't really know. Like, we are not working with anything nice here. Yeah, we're definitely, I mean, chances are I probably would have closed this trade. We'll just go break even on it. Even like, I don't know, maybe we just close. We'll leave it at break even to see if this does get any movement. And remember, sideways, guys, we don't want to be a part of this. There's literally nothing in here that's good. Like, there's just no reason to trade this if we're looking for a trend to follow, and there's no trend, don't trade. So this isn't even like the greatest entry, but kind of forced, low-key. All right, we're trailing this. We're going to trail this aggressive because, all right, low-key got bailed out of this. I got lucky that this just started displacing when it did. You know, chances are lifetime, it's very possible I could have got out of this sooner. So we're going to aggressively trail this one. But yeah. Okay, yeah, low-key deserve to be out there. Let's see if this gets a flip to the upside, though. Yeah, not even a flip. This isn't the greatest trade to take. All right, I did just skip to the next day. I see that we have this massive new week opening gap. It is Saturday, and honestly, we're hitting like 30 minutes. It's probably a good time to end here, so we're just going to call it. Like I said, as we get closer to Christmas, price action is going to get worse, but my biggest tip for you guys is just do your own research, you know, determine whether or not you actually want to trade. Don't just listen to what people say online, especially like when you're looking at TikTok comments, when you're looking at YouTube videos. Obviously, you guys will never know like truly how 100% honest I'm being. I know that I'm profitable and I'm putting this out here as information to help you guys, but I'm not saying don't trust anybody, but please do your own research. Don't just listen. You never know who's actually profitable. You never know what's really going on when you're consuming this information in the space. So my best tip for you guys is to just do your own research. I can do my best to help you guys and I can try and be genuine for you. But again, it's important for your strategy and the way you trade. Do your own due diligence and figure it out. I hope December price action goes well for you guys. It'll probably be a little bit slower, so just be cautious. But remember, if you see good setups, please take them. I hope that you're able to learn something from this video. If you have any trading questions, comment them below. And of course, I hope to see you in the next video.